Hi, my name is Matt Harber. Welcome to my shop. I am going to demonstrate how to turn a magic wand. This is one way how to turn it. It is my way. There are a lot of different ways to turn a magic wand. This is not the only way to do it. This is not the best way. These are not the only materials or the best materials. There is a lot of different ways to turn a magic wand, and I encourage you to look around for examples. You can turn one out of a single piece of wood if you want. You can hold it with a steady rest if you'd like. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I am going to use a piece of cherry for the handle, and I'm going to use a 5/16 inch wood dowel that's 12 inches long as the shaft. This is a 5/16 inch drill. It's in my Jacobs chuck with the number 2 MT in my tailstock. And this is going to be, I'm going to drill it 2 inches deep, which is where the tape mark here is. And I will also use a set of calipers to measure 1 inch increments on the shaft when I get there. And I am also going to use a little tool I've made in the shop. These are wood handles and some picture hanging wire, and I will use this to burn lines in the handle and the shaft when I need to. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill my hole. And all I do is I just advance the drill, pulling it out occasionally to clear the chips. To demonstrate how my shaft will fit, it will fit in like that. Okay. So now the next step is to bring up some tailstock support, and for this I'm going to use a cone, and fit it into the hole I just drilled gently. And now I'm going to turn my handle. So the way I like to make my handles is I like to make them comfortable fit for my hand. So I'm going to turn it about this long, and I'm going to mark the end of it here. And that's going to be the bottom of my handle. All right, let's zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use the following tools. I'm going to use a deep fluted bowl gouge with swept back wings, Irish grind. I am going to use a small deep fluted bowl gouge with the swept back wings. I am going to use a basic standard skew. I am going to use a detail gouge. This detail gouge used to be a spindle gouge that's been have had the profile altered and had the grind steepened a little bit and the shoulders swept back. So your designs can be anything that you'd like. I am making this design specifically from a customer request. It will consist of It will have a bead here. And what I'm doing is this is the detail gouge, and I'm rolling it into the groove. And now I will take my picture hanging wire, pull my tailstock back, take my picture hanging wire, and burn these grooves. Like that. And now at this end, where the end is, this is the skew. I'm using it to mark the end and rolling into it. Okay, now this part of it, I'm going to do a little sort of a feature like this, a little cove. I'm cutting with my deep fluted bowl gouge downhill. Now I want this part to be a little shorter than it is, right there. And this is going to be another bead here. This to be a little less. Okay, and we're going to burn more grooves there. It's going to very gently slope to a high point in the middle, and gently slope in these both sections, in these sections here. So this is a little high here. Now I'm using the flute of this tool as a skew. This is a little high. And the same goes for here. My center is going to be about there. So this bit is going to slope down here. And this bit is going to slope down here. See that I've got a little bit of a clean up there, a little bit to clean up here. Okay. And now I sand. I start usually at 100 grit. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to clean up this end and then part it off. Okay, now I'm going to need to make some space here so I can part off as much as I can here, and I don't want to tear it off. I want to get it close, saw it off, and then clean it up. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use a parting tool, a small parting tool, to get close. Okay, that's pretty close. Let's take it off all the rest of the way with the saw. I'm going to saw. There we go. So there's my handle. I've got a little bit of cleanup to do on this little end here, which I'll use a Dremel for. I've got a, see if I can show it for you here. I've just got a little saber-tooth burr here, and I'm just going to clean that off really quickly and then sand it. Sand it by hand. Sometimes the old ways work the best. So that's where I am with it. And I'll go through the grits. 100, 150, 220, and 320. Okay, so there's my handle. Just needs finish. It's got a nice comfortable feel to it. And we'll start to do the the shaft next. Now, for the shaft, I'm going to switch to pin jaws. They're just smaller jaws. So, and they're small enough to hold the shaft. So, and the way I do this is I put it in here and insert it so it's into my headstock, and I just do the little bit that is showing. So I'm going to do the first inch or so. So and for this I will use mostly my detail gouge. And we'll start with this. So I've got a little knob on the front, and you don't want to push too hard, because otherwise you will bend the wood and start to get off center. So, and I want to do a little bead here, about that distance. So we'll do a little bead here. And then I will use my wood burner turn it up. There we go. There we go. My calipers and determine where the next set of grooves is going to be. All right. So I will put my bead in. And this, I want to scoop out a little bit. That, and we'll burn our lines. And then sand. Bead, make sure our bead is actually a bead. Okay, now we have to do this a couple more times. So I'm forever advancing it and turning my next set of beads down here. there. And repeat it. So there's my bead, my bead, my bead. And you always want to do this sort of detail very close to the headstock, so that your shaft, your very thin shaft, which is bendable, is supported. I'm using my finger to support this. Now I can do this also with the deep fluted bowl gouge, the small deep fluted bowl gouge. Get a very nice shearing cut. Now I'm getting a lot of vibration here, so one of the things I'm going to do is I am going to bring in some tailstock support. And the way I do that is I have a rubber chucky that's got a hole in the middle of it. Actually, I'm just going to bring this one in. So what I've got is I've got live center and a rubber chucky so it spins, and I'm going to bring that up and use it to stabilize this so it doesn't vibrate around like that. And I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on it, because pressure will cause this to bow and give me chatter. So all I'm doing is just keeping it stable so that it doesn't vibrate so much. So, and then I can, it's much more stable. And I'm getting shearing cuts with the side with the flute of this gouge. And I'm turning downhill into the center of this. We'll make sure we get it good and sanded. So you want to sand as you go. As you do each section, you want to sand it so you've got the support. Okay, so that's probably exactly as far as I want to go. So let's test the fit. This is my so there's my fit, there's my wand handle, and let me zoom this out a bit and show you the magic wand that I've just turned. It's got a nice comfortable feel. And now all I need to do is put finish on it. So let me switch to this and show you again. This is the wand that I've just turned. Usually I glue this in, but if you want to put something in here like feathers or something, you can. Be careful about getting it out once you put it in. It's kind of fragile. But there's the two parts. There's the handle and the shaft that I just turned. This again is you can use whatever size you want, but this is a 5/16 oak dowel that I got at the hardware store. This is a piece of cherry, of which I have a lot of. So, and that's how that's done. Thank you very much.